I want to believe that we are starting to understand the politics of desire and ugliness, but how we engage with certain individuals online lets me know that we're not quite there yet, and we're maybe not even understanding the consequences of these things. I want to talk about the memification of ugliness online. Let's talk about it.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
What's going on, you all? I've been wanting to do this video for quite a minute, and I think in other videos I've talked about this, and I am online and I am seeing something that has been sticking out to me for the last couple of years. And it became even more evident after the viral sensation of Miss Netta and Charles. And I started to see a pattern of how they were being used as memes and as content for everybody else, and that it was not laughing with them, it was laughing at them. And they were being dissected in each and every type of way. And it's not just Miss Netta and Charles, it's also someone like Shamar, who has a visible disability, who has talked about them experiencing homelessness and how people have used Shamar and his disability to make content. They will invite Shamar to do makeovers. They will invite Shamar to promote products and things when Shamar is saying, hey, I am homeless. I, do not have anywhere to live. And people are not worried about that. People are not really, caring about what is going on with this person who has a disability, who does not have housing. And this is a real thing that is happening in specifically big cities across the world, in the United States. Like, that's where I live. But specifically Atlanta, like, I see a lot of homelessness in Atlanta, the Black Mecca, the Wakanda, what T.I. would call it. And you see that a lot of the folks who are dealing with homelessness are Black folks, Black and brown folks, Black folks with disabilities, Black folks with mental issues and things, and how we are, quick to discard the people who need the most, to the side. Like, we'll watch shows like Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, and we'll see these people living on the streets and how they're treated. And it's like this dystopia, like, oh, well, that's not really happening. Like, it is happening. We do that. There is a red keep. There is a flea bottom, in our own world. Like, these things that have been written are coming from real world things that are happening in our own reality. And I saw recently the conversation about Miss Netta and Miss Charles, and they were going viral. Miss Netta was cooking Charles a plate, and she was posting the videos on TikTok. And Miss Netta, some of the things I've seen, she looked like she can cook, like sister can throw down, and the food looked really good. But that wasn't it. Like, that wasn't enough for her to go viral. People were concerned about her gender and how she identified, and what she was. And we have to name that Miss Netta is a dark-skinned, fat person. And people were questioning all types of ways. Primary reason why Miss Netta got online and was posting these videos, she likes to cook. She said that several times. She likes to cook for her man. And, people, that wasn't enough. Like, that wasn't enough. They needed to gender her. They need to place her in a box and understand, like, what she was, and how she identified. And that is another side of ugliness. When we talk about ugliness, we're not just talking about physical features. We're also talking about, other things like your life, like being queer, being trans, having a disability. Like, all of these things are ugliness. This is things that we discard and put to the side. Like, this is not of use. Your humanity is wrapped up in your ability to create capital. Like if you do not have that, you cease to exist. Like if you cannot be in the system, we don't see you as human. And Miss Netta, just posting these TikTok videos has been able to gain a big following. And every time I have seen people repost her, it has been in a way to laugh at her versus laugh with her. And it hurts. I'm gonna be honest, it hurts because Miss Netta is being taken advantage of. Like people will post the videos and knowing that folks are going to respond and talk about her gender, talk about her skin, or talk about how she looks. And I am struggling as a content creator, like being online. I think this is probably the first like year that I am struggling being online because of content like this. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like seeing how ugliness is a constant conversation and how you don't have any humanity. Like they don't even see Miss Netta as human. Like you have folks now taking her, her anger towards Charles in some videos and using it as content and laughing at it, and now saying that Charles is not happy and all of that. And I'm gonna tell you, there's a reason why folks are now engaging and on Charles' side. Charles is the one who has the most like capital as far as desire in this relationship. Like in this, he is a black masculine man, even though he is, fat. And when I use the term fat, I don't use it in a bad way because I am as well. But Charles is now like receiving a lot of love. Like him being angry towards Miss Netta is now getting a lot of attention because now people can use Charles as a way to get back at Miss Netta for just being ugly. And people want to act as if, oh, that's not what it is. I'm not doing that. You might think you're not, but subconsciously you are. We all are. Like, I think about, shows and things that used to do makeovers on people who were ugly, who were fat, and used to have these weight loss shows and all these other things to like, show the world like what ugliness is and how we can fix it. And we don't see these shows as much anymore. And that's because as a society, we want to believe that we have moved past these like shows and all that. But now it is online. We're seeing now on TikTok and social media, folks putting pillows on their stomachs and their backs to mock fat folks. Like fat suits are now being made out of pillows. And now there's a song called Big Back. Like now people have used the term big back in ways that reinforces fat phobia and anti-fatness. Like finding new ways to say it because they can't say the other things because it's taboo or whatever. They'll be looked at as what's going on, but they haven't really deconstructed at least a little bit the anti-fatness that is inside of them. And that's why we're seeing terms like big back. Like people have no issue using that. I saw a recipe for a peach crumble that was like really, really good. And someone commented under and said, oh, I need a little bit more crumbs because I'm medium big back. And this person is not even fat. Like it's, taking terms and, making it, giving it a negative connotation, but it's still around like anti-fatness. Like we can get into a whole conversation about that, and I won't do that this video, but I will in the future. That's something I'm working on. But all of this is ugliness, like transness, disabilities, fatness, color, your skin, hair texture, like lips, like featureism. We can get into all of those things. And Miss Netta is a part of some of those. Like she's a dark skinned, femme presenting person. who is fat, and she can't even do the things of just like making content, like cooking. She can't even cook. Like folks have said, the food looks good. That's not why people are interested. They're not interested in that. Like, you do not get the ability to come and focus on food when you are not desirable. Like, you can't create content. Like, we want to believe that we care about the content that's being made and, like, what the talent is, but we care about what the talent looks like. For someone like Anara, who is this woman who's been called out for stealing content and stuff, people are engaging with this content and watching her. The food looks bland as hell. Like, she's making matches and shit from scratch, and people are fascinated with it. They're not fascinated that she's making these things from scratch. They're fascinated that this is a very desirable woman who looks rich, because to look rich, you have to be further away from blackness as possible. I don't know if Nara identifies as black. I don't really care. But when we talk about like ugliness, like, she is a thin, light-skinned woman, and she seems to be rich. Like, people have talked about even the clothes she's wearing making these things. So it's not about the actual food and the product, it's about what it looks like at the end of the day, which is why someone who is undesirable has to take it up another notch. And sometimes it be them making fun of themselves. I never forget watching an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, and Cornbread was on there, and she did a skit or something where she was eating chicken, or she was eating something she was making fun of, like, eating. And Lonnie Love said, "Hey, I know you're fat, like, but you don't have to rely on and make fun of your fatness in your comedy all the time. Like, you don't have to do that." But fat folks feel like they have to do that. We see that all the time on RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, every fat drag queen who has been on there usually use a name around food, because they have to laugh at themselves from the beginning. It has to be identified. Like, I know I'm ugly. I know I'm fat. I know I'm these things. So I can joke about these things, because if I was to talk about anything else, you will remind me. So if I am reminding you that I know I am these things, you feel more comfortable watching and consuming me. It happens. Like, it happens. But there you have it with Miss Netta and Charles. Like, the dissection, the let's get Miss Netta a makeover, let's get her skin together, let's now get her body done. And you have all these doctors and folks who do not care about them personally, but recognize that they are ugly and are perceived as ugly. And if we are able to get them as close to beauty as possible, we're able to, like, promote our stuff. Like, we're going to use them to promote that we can fix ugliness. And what they're essentially doing is erasing blackness. Essentially, that's what it is. Like, there's a reason why people started to like Miss Netta, like, more when the pictures were, like, edited, and not just her skin being smoother, but her skin being lighter, and her hair being in a specific type of way, and also her being more clean when it comes to presenting femininity, because there is only one version to a lot of folks of femininity. Like, if you're gonna be, you need to have these things. It's so messed up. Like, I can't tell y'all how bad it is. Like, getting online and seeing, I just saw a video of Charles, like, catching an attitude with Miss Netta, and everybody's just in there like,
excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. You happy?
Oh, no, I'm not happy.
Well, too bad.
Them people might be happy. You gotta get over there just a little bit.
Okay. I can do it.
Oh, well, let me get the fuck out here, because all that.
Okay, see, I said I was doing it. I ain't need you to pull me over.
y'all, no shade, y'all would do stuff like this online, and then when y'all friends of somebody, like, unfortunately pass away from, death by suicide, y'all are concerned, and y'all like, oh my gosh, like, I would have never known, like, why didn't they tell me anything? Why would anybody tell y'all anything, considering how y'all act online? Why would any of these people who are friends with y'all tell y'all anything when this is how y'all move online all day. Like, I can't tell you how sick and tired I am of being on Twitter, and it's turning into the thirst trap agenda. Like, every day there's a new thread of, let me show you how less fat I am. Let me show you how my body, like, body T. We are finding new ways to be anti-fat. Like, we're finding language to be anti-fat to keep the light off of us. Like, we do not want to be considered these things, but we still want to partake in these things. I wish I had $1 every time somebody said I need him for somebody who is thin, light-skinned, gym body, and masculine. I wish to God I had $1. I would probably be able to pay off my house by then. Like, I would be able to. And I know this might come off as a venting situation. Yes, I am upset. Yes, I am jealous. With all the things that you want to say that I am that. That I am. Because I'm seeing the constant, like, dissection of ugly folks online 24/7, and the defense of desirable folks who are doing ugly things all the time. Like, I'm seeing it, like, all the time. And folks will say, well, you have to log off, touch grass. I see it in real life. Like, online, as much as we want to say it's not a real place, it is very much a real place. Because these are real people tweeting real thoughts. Okay? Giving real world teas, MTV. Like, these are real people in a real place giving real ideas of how they think. And they portray to be something else offline. So moving to Shamar, who has had his videos and stuff used several times in things, like, and his audio used or whatever, like him talking about, like, him going through it, like, financially. Even the Shamar plates situation where people ran with this idea that he was selling plates and stuff to pay his bills. He said he was broke, he was going through it. Took that idea and made content out of it. Like, oh, I just picked up a Shamar plate, and the plate is, like, you know, a bunch of food that doesn't look that good. Like, Shamar doesn't have any humanity online. Like, he doesn't have any humanity, period, because he's disabled. Like, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have access to it. Like, this person is sitting here struggling with these things, and y'all cannot see that. We cannot see that. People want to believe that when friends tell them, or people who are the quote unquote ugly friends in the friend group or whatever, talk about going to the club with their friends and not being the one spoken to, or not the one seen, or feeling invisible. People seem to think that it stops. Like, it goes no further than the clubs and the bedroom. Like, it goes no further than that. It absolutely does. Like, people take this and apply it in their everyday lives. People hire folks based off of desire. People are ready to be arrested by an officer if they are desirable. People are ready to be in jail if an inmate is in jail and they are desirable. Like, people are willing to sacrifice their very own humanity because of desire. Like, they're willing to sacrifice that because of desire. Even to the point that you have folks, like, doing harmful surgeries and things to achieve some form of beauty. And honestly, I don't really blame them, because if we don't eradicate this idea and these systems that are oppressing folks, what do y'all expect? We can talk about futurism, colorism. Can we talk about it? Can we talk about colorism and futurism? Because we can't even be slightly critical of another light-skinned, biracial, non-black, ambiguous pop star female who is thin and, you know, pretty. Like, we can't even be critical of that, because people are rushing in to be defensive of it, even in the slightest of criticism. To be a little bit messy on going to Blackgate Twitter, there was this guy who posted a screenshot of a friendship that had, you know, ended because of toxicness, and he said that this person would talk to him crazy and was mad because he did not have $21 to give him. And this person who was asking for the $21 is very desirable. They're very, you know, attractive online. They post pictures of their body all the time. People have followed them and engaged with them just based off a desire. And people were saying that, you know, this whole situation was messy. Posting a screenshot of them is messy. The person who posted the picture, I'm not gonna say they're not high on the desirable scale. They're not ugly. When I say that, I think they're attractive. But when we talk about society, how they see beauty, he wasn't on there compared to Homeboy, who was asking for the $21. So this person was getting dragged for being messy and not the disgusting things that were said in the text message. Fast forward 3-4 days later, you then have these content creators on OnlyFans get into it because of somebody cheating. And this person who is a content creator shared a video of this guy's partner in their bedroom cheating. Like they're on the bed, like laying up and all that. Like there's a camera in the bedroom. And he's posted the video and screenshots. Now he said he did this to defend himself, but this conversation could have been had offline. It could have been sent directly to him. Like you posted a video of this person in your bedroom, like kissing without their consent. You post it online. Doesn't matter if they know they have, doesn't matter if people are knowing that you have cameras in your bedroom, you post it online without their consent. And people were defending and saying, oh, this is not messy. This is, you know, these are the things, like, you know, this is not that, like, all of that logic and stuff had went out the window. Like you've seen people do a complete reverse. They were so defensive of this person and saying this was not mess. And it made me think about even myself. Like I'm trying not to be engaged with certain things and certain stuff online, so I won't be seeming as though I'm always quote unquote in mask. But I'm like, you have these folks who are masked, gym body, and are desirable, who do not have to worry about being called messy. Like you have content creators who are abusers, and there's no issue. Like it just reminds you how desire works. And you will be a fool to sit up here and believe that it doesn't move in a way that is harmful to folks who do not benefit from it. That's why we have Miss Netta and Miss Charles going viral. Like, we are laughing at Miss Netta. We're not laughing with her. Miss Netta being undesirable is the butt of the joke of why people are engaging with the content. Like that is the main reason why people are engaging with the content. To the point that you have folks saying, if Miss Netta can find somebody, what's wrong with me? To reinforce the very idea that to be in a relationship, to be in love, you have to be desirable. Nothing else. You have to be beautiful. Like you have to be beautiful. You don't have to have, you know, other things, just be beautiful. And they're right. In a lot of ways, like they're right. Like I'm not even gonna like hold you. People are more willing to tolerate certain things from their partners when they are desirable. They are willing to tolerate things when they're dating someone based off of them being desirable. We're all somewhat guilty of it. And we have to think about, like, are we putting up with this behavior because this person is a good person and just having a bad day, or are we just like attracted to them? Like, are we just attracted to them and allowing them to do things? Like, I can get into a whole conversation about how DL men benefit from that, because the desire is them being masculine and having access to masculinity, toxic masculinity for a lot of them. And that is a desirable trait for a lot of gay men who are seeking masculinity. Like, no shade, I just saw a whole campaign for some joggers online saying masculinity is a prison, only to go and see that all of the images they have used are reinforcing the very idea of masculinity, like gym body, masculine men. And, you know, maybe they're in some lingerie, but you are reinforcing that masculinity is indeed a prison. It's just like, words mean things. I need folks to pick up a book. But, you know, I think this has went on as a rant, and I really was not trying to like get to that. But seeing how Shamar and how folks have engaged with him and his looks and using him to promote whatever they want, using them to promote their businesses and stuff, and how the conversation about Miss Netta and Charles are going on right now. It's very sad, and it's like a state of the culture, and to let me know that we have a lot more work to do. And even when people are tired of hearing about colorism and the colorist page and all this other things, like, oh, y'all talk about this again, like, y'all, we have to, because y'all have not got it. Y'all have not got it. Like, y'all probably understand the idea of it, but you're not applying it in real life. That's all I got. Let me know how you feel about the content, my comments on this in the comment section, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.